Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Jamil. So let's see where market can move and how we can plan for tomorrow. Last week we discussed after closing this swing we can try to sell aggressively on here, and 11,000 is a round level. Market may act as a support for the market because this is the first time market will going to hit its important round level. Remember, round level always act as a support and resistance in the market. So in this case 11,000 was a fresh level because previous time market did not touch this level. So this first time market will going to be touch this level. If it's first time that market need to react, you can see after touching this level market start to buying on here. So that means this level are expecting on here. So how we can plan for this week? So after closing, after last week it was trending market. So after trending market need to be paused on here. So you can see almost this week market travel both sides and closing in between. So volatility are there. So this week we also can see another volatile week because both side market almost travel. It's almost 1,000-point travel for this week. So last week. So this week either we are going to see this kind of another doji candle similar like this, or either this kind of reversal candle that to be near on support we can see for this week, because last 2 weeks we also plan to sell aggressively on here. Even this week we also plan to sell aggressively on here. So last back-to-back 2 weeks after selling, market need to be paused. After pause, then it will be trend continues. So if it is selling, then it will be selling. If it is not selling, then trend will going to be reversed. So I hope you understand my point. On weekly time frame, we are not going to plan to buy or sell aggressively on here. So let's check the day time frame. How you can planning to buy or sell on here. On a day time frame, you can see here after sharp selling is first pullback, again selling is another pullback. So what does mean by this pullback? Last time you can see first pullback, it's a gap down, it's a selling. So right on here it's another pullback. So what does mean? What pullback is this pullback will going to be sustained or not? For this market need to open flat, gap up, then this pullback will going to be sustained. If anything gap down opening similar like that we can see, we already saw on Thursday. If anything gap that to be in tomorrow, then again we are going to be negative sign, but on negative sign, but it doesn't mean that we are going to be planning to sell on here, because selling almost done on here, because you can see here from that level market continuously coming for the selling. Remember one point, market is not only for the seller, market is also consists of buyer and seller. So seller are already look like achieve the target, because 1,600 1,500 point they already captured on a selling side, that to be in one direction. So after this market needs to be pause on here. After achieve the target by the seller, they are not going to be adding their position. So after not adding the position on selling side, generally buyer start to buying from the bottom level. So this is kind of like a price action are building here on this support level, and 11,000 no doubt is important support for the market. If anything positive candle sustaining on 11,000 and highs breaking, no doubt it will going to be for the positive sign for the shorter time frame. So I hope you understand this point. So on a daily time frame, we already discussed that it start to become positive on here. So how we can plan to buy or sell for tomorrow? For this we have to see the 50-minute time frame. Let's check the 50-minute time frame, how we can plan to buy or sell for tomorrow. Last Friday we discussed after closing this resistance level, by making this kind of price action, only after this kind of scenario we can try to buy on here. Hit the like button if you remember in our previous analysis that to be on Friday we discussed this kind of scenario. If going to be happen, then we can try to buy on here, and you can see exactly after opening slightly gap up, market sharply pull back almost 100 150 160 point after traveling immediately reversal from here. No doubt this kind of scenario, if anyone trade on here, that to be scary scenario for them. But what we discussed after closing this resistance level, we need a price action, because market is a negative sign. For negative market, if anything price action, then buyers generally enter in the market. So discussed, we already planned on Friday. You can see here, and the time also we all discussed about the timing should be after 12:30. If this kind of scenario going to be made, then we can try to take a trade on here. You can see after 12 on here, sharply pullback, kind of like price action, start to breaking on the high, then it's a price action for the price action start to making on here, and we can try to buy on here. No doubt, even if you put your stop loss on here, that to be in the 40 to 45 range, and almost you already achieve your target. I hope you understand this point, because remember always in a negative trend, if you see any price action that to be in buying, then trying to trade on second half if it is only for the buying. If it is selling, then you can plan to sell anytime, but if it is buying, then it's need a price action and the timing should be in second half. After second half, generally most of the buyer prefer to buy on here. So I hope you understand this point. So how we can plan to buy for tomorrow? You can see here this is the resistance level, no doubt 11,350.60 is a important support for resistance for the market. After opening flat, any kind of green candle that to be in first 50-minute candle, 50-minute time frame, any kind of green candle that to be in 50 minutes, as soon as we're breaking the high, we can plan to buy on here, and the target will going to be 11,500. 11,500 is the most important psychological round level. So our target will going to be on here, but we have to put our stop loss 40 to 45 point stop loss going to be our risk, and 1 is going to be our target. Remember, flat after need to be open flat, any kind of green candle we can plan to buy on here. After breaking the high, you can plan to buy on it. This is the first plan. If anything gap up, then if anything gap up more than 150 points, still I will be considered for the positive market, because you can see here a couple of days market is slightly going to be open gap up. You can see it's also gap up, and that day also gap up. That means if negative market slightly opening gap up, though its closing is not look like for a strong positive side, but slightly gap up open, it's a sign that market are going to be in a positive momentum from negative side. You can see it was a negative market. After slightly gap up, it means it's going to be positive. A slow and steady market going to be positive on here. So anything gap up for tomorrow, still I'll be considered for the positive market. But how we can plan after gap up? If anything gap up, then 11,500, no doubt it will going to be support for a resistance for the market. So market need to be hold on here. If it is able to hold itself till 12:30, is there any breakout, we can plan to buy on here. Only this condition need to be matched, then we can plan to buy on here. If anything gap down, suppose if anything gap down 11,250, any price action that we in after opening market start of coming down below, then you can plan to sell on here, and 40 to 45 going to be point stop loss, and 1 is going to be our target, and this is going to be our support for the market. I hope you understand this point, friend. This is just my own analysis, own research, own planning for tomorrow. It is not any recommendation for the buying or selling. I'm not saying that you have to follow me, you have to just do what I said. Do your own research, do your own analysis, so you can understand, you can learn out of it. So I hope you understand this point, friend. Let's check the S&P 500, how we can find buy for tomorrow. On S&P 500, you can see it's a range, it's completely flat range. So for tomorrow, after opening flat, as soon as you break 3,700, you can plan to buy on here, and 10 to 15 point going to be stop loss, and 1 is going to be our target. It's our first plan. If anything gap down, then it's look like it can be continuation for the sell side, because you can see on a daily weekly time frame, if you see that market almost falling down, still it's need a space for the selling more selling point. Still it's pending on there. So after opening gap down, we have to see the price. After opening gap down, if it start making price action in smaller time frame, 5-minute time frame, then you can try to sell on here. Only for S&P 500. For the Nasdaq, we are not going to plan to sell, because already sell up done on there. So market need to be rest on, or for the Nasdaq. For the S&P 500, we can plan to sell with a small quantity, because it's going to be the risky, because you can see market almost continuously falling down. And again, if this range will going to be falling, no doubt selling will be there, but we cannot planning aggressive quantity. We have to reduce our quantity. So after opening flat, as soon as break, we can plan to buy. After gap down, only after gap down. Doesn't mean that after opening flat, we can plan to sell aggressively quantity, and we are planning this range will going to be breakdown. No, only after opening gap down, as soon as it break, we can plan to buy on here after seeing kind of price action on 5-minute time frames. I hope you understand this point, friend. Let's take the stock. First stock will going to be the Alibaba stock. It is for the selling side, but for this we have to be wait for closing 100 level. $100 level is most important psychological level. As soon as it break 100 level, we can try to sell on here, and $2 going to be stop loss, 1 is going to be our target. But for this market need to be open flat. If anything more than 1%, 1.5% gap up, then we are going to ignore this trade. After opening flat, as soon as it break 100 level, we have to wait for 100 level also. After opening flat, as soon as it break this swing 100 level, we can try to sell on here. This first stock Alibaba for selling. And second stock will going to be the Amazon, which is for the buying, because you can see here completely it's a trend line maintaining on its support level, and this support level is previous time is also very big upside momentum. So this week this support acting as a buying level. So for tomorrow after opening flat 106 astrology breaking the high, you can try to buy on here, and $1.50 going to be stop loss, 1 is going to be our target. I hope you understand all of this point. If you understand, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and thank you very much.